Yeah, we ask ourselves the question, will Kawhi Leonard return to playoffs? Is he going to make a comeback? Is he coming back? Is his knee really bad off? These are the questions we have because, we're sitting here thinking about how great of a player Kawhi is and what he brings to the Clippers as an organization, as a team, and what he brings to them just undeniably on the court because like I said, I like a lot of Clippers. I've said it before. I like a lot of the Clippers players. I like what they have. I like a lot of pieces they have, but they're really a complete team, of course, when Kawhi is there. I love Paul George. I love the fact that Paul George is, playing at a high level the way he is, but can he carry the load? I'm not saying he can't carry the load because it's possible that he can. But what I'm saying is at some point in time, you're going to face a team where you need Kawhi Leonard services more than ever. And I'm telling you, if you look at this Suns series, when they get Chris Paul back, the Clippers are going to need Kawhi Leonard back. It's just that simple. Not unless the Clippers can make an adjustment that we don't know about, that we haven't seen, or allow us to have somebody on their bench that, that Ty Lue can throw in there that can maybe throw like a monkey wrench in the game, so to say, or throw the game off for the Suns so the Clippers can prevail to the next round, which is the finals. I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying it's not, but don't kid yourself. I mean, this team needs Kawhi Leonard because, like I said, if you play the Suns, they're playing the Suns right now in a 7-game series. That game one that they lost, they would have won that game if they had Kawhi Leonard. Because with no Chris Paul, there's no way in the world the Suns would have scored 120 points with Kawhi Leonard there. Because Kawhi Leonard would have neutralized Devin Booker some. He might not neutralize them a lot, but instead of Devin Booker having a 40-point triple-double, he might have had a 32-point triple-double. And him having 32 points instead of 40, well, that means the Clippers win because the score was 120 to 114. So the Clippers lost by 6 points. But if he had 32 points, they may have scored 112 and the Clippers 114 or maybe more with Kawhi Leonard. You see what I'm getting at? So it's little things like that, little defensive plays, block shots here and there. How many times you seen Kawhi come up with major blocks in the playoffs, like against that series in Utah where Bogdanovich is driving to the basket on him, on Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Paul George is defending him. Kawhi Leonard comes over from the weak side and blocks his layup. And that was a momentum, and that was a part of a momentum change in the game, which allowed the Clippers to play at their best and make the comeback when they were down 0-2. Then you look at how he locked up Luka for a little bit. The last 2 games of that series, and whenever he guarded Luka was very ineffective. And this is what I'm saying. When you have a player that you can just, a dog basically that you could just sick on somebody and say, hey, go get him. That's Kawhi Leonard. And Kawhi Leonard can neutralize Devin Booker some. I'm not sure if Paul George can neutralize Devin Booker defensively and still drop 35 plus points this series, because that's exactly what Paul George would have to do for 7 games. And I'm not sure if he can do it. I'm not saying he can't do it, but I know Kawhi can do it because we've seen Kawhi do it. Hey, and if it wasn't for Kawhi Leonard, you got to admit that first round, they might have went out in the first round against Dallas because Kawhi's game 6 was epic. The 45 points, on like 50, 60% shooting. His defense was good on Luka. I mean, it was in game 7, he nearly notched a triple-double to follow it up. This is what I'm saying. It's hard to replace a player of that caliber. And what I'm saying is when you look at the Clippers in this series especially and going forward, they're going to need Kawhi Leonard because think about it. I hope he does come back from his knee injury. I hope it's not that severe since they're saying it's a knee strain. I don't know what grade 1, 2, or 3, but hopefully he can come back because, like I said, if they have to play the Milwaukee Bucks or Atlanta, well, let's just say they had to play the Milwaukee Bucks and they get past the Suns and play Milwaukee in the finals, who's going to stop Giannis? Like, who's going to stop him? Like, the only person that we've seen literally stop Giannis one-on-one the last couple years really has been Kawhi Leonard when he was on the Toronto Raptors. Nick Nurse on Toronto Raptors put Kawhi on Giannis and it neutralized Giannis a whole lot where the Raptors won 4 straight games and they were down 0-2. This is what I'm saying. At some point, you're going to have Kawhi Leonard services. You're going to have to. There's just no other way around it. And I like what the team is doing now. I like the way they're rallying, but they need their leader. They need him because, like I said, Paul George can't guard Giannis. They can set up a brick wall for Giannis all they want to. But now that he got Middleton playing better, and now that they added Drew Holiday, who can orchestrate an offense and plays defense good himself, you're going to need Kawhi Leonard to stop some of what they're doing. You got to give them credit. They did beat the Brooklyn Nets, even though the Nets were not 100% healthy, but the Nets did have so-called the best player in the league. I find that debatable, but, that's what they say. So my point is, without Kawhi Leonard, life is not going to be too difficult because the Clippers have a lot of depth. But this is what I'm saying. Now you're looking at Marcus Morris. Who knows where his knee is at? And even when Marcus Morris was healthy, Marcus Morris has his games where he plays really good, but he also has his games where he plays not so good. So the only consistent player you had night in and night out was pretty much just Kawhi Leonard. Because there's games where Paul George in the first and second round just really didn't play well. I mean, he played well mostly overall, stats-wise. If you look at the stat sheet, he had like 29 points or something like that in some of those games. But his shooting in the second, third, and fourth quarter of some of those games was really not that great. But it got covered up because of what Kawhi was doing. And then you look at Game 6 where Kawhi was out and Terrence Mann goes for 39 points. Paul George really didn't play good that second half of that game. Honestly, if it wasn't for Terrence Mann, they wouldn't have won that series. Or maybe not that game. They would have had to take a Game 7 back to Utah. So my point is, you could depend on Paul George. He's a great player, and he's showing a lot of resilience right now. But I'm telling you, they got to have Kawhi Leonard. They got to have their leader at some point. And if he doesn't come back, well, then, you got to just kind of, do the best you can. And maybe they could find a way to pull out the championship. Maybe. I'm not sure. But it's like, if Chris Paul comes back, the Suns are going to be better. If they have to play Giannis and the Bucks in the finals, well, Giannis and the Bucks got all the confidence in the world now because they just beat the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, that's just the honest truth. They just beat the Brooklyn Nets. So, they feel like they can beat anybody. And now that Giannis can step out and, or he has confidence anyway to step out and take a three, I still don't think he could shoot. But, I still think he's, with his confidence shooting in these playoffs, he might get more confident and start knocking them down consistently. So who knows? But at the same time, this is why I think the Clippers need Kawhi Leonard badly enough because they need somebody to neutralize Devin Booker, the series they're in. They need somebody that's going to, challenge and contest some of those other players because the Suns got a lot of perimeter defenders. The Clippers do too. But the Suns, their best player, I'm not sure if nobody on the Clippers can really stop Devin Booker besides Kawhi Leonard. I just don't see it. But, it's possible that somebody can. We don't want to over-speculate too much, but like I said, Kawhi definitely needs to come back, and hopefully we don't know what his status is. I'm hoping maybe Game 3, Game 4, but it's really up in the air. Everybody's saying a lot about Chris Paul. He's definitely coming back, but nobody really knows too much about Kawhi, so we just have to see how it goes, man. But, hey, that's my take on it. Hey, leave any comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think. And, hey, Cali out.